See my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, thanks everyone for joining the session, and thank you very much, Pune, for giving us an opportunity to speak in your user group. Okay. So, today's presentation, we are going to speak about Sitecore CDP. So mainly we are going to focus on what exactly the Sitecore CDP is, what are the key features of CDP, how you can integrate Sitecore CDP in your project or your website, and lastly we'll go with the demo, like how CDP events are working, like how the integration works, how the flow of CDP works, like how you can track the events and everything. So like the demo will be more completely like the setup of like connecting with the CDP, and after that you will be able to integrate Sitecore CDP in your project basically. So I have with me Rishi, and we both are going to speak. So Rishi is going to speak about what exactly the CDP is, like how it works, the key features and the connection details, and there are a few more points which he's going to speak about it, and then I'll cover the demo part. Okay. So the agenda is the same. What is Sitecore CDP? Then the key features of CDP, CDP details and connection. Then there are a few points which I will cover on the CDP dashboard. What are the features of those points? Like how you can see the dashboard, and what are all the facilities available in CDP? How the connection things you can find in the CDP and all. There are few reserve events in the CDP, so we are going to talk about them, and then demo, and at last we are also going to talk about like how you can make how you can grab the data from your any other database, and you can import that data to CDP. And the last session, last slide will be the question and answer. So that is how we'll start, and we'll begin. So I'll give it to Rishi for the next slide.
Thanks, SUG Pune, for giving this chance to present here. So my name is Rishiraj Shekhawat. I think Rohan and Yogesh already given my little intro. So I am working as a solution architect in Rightpoint. So I am Sitecore 8, 9, 10 and Sitecore CDP certified developer. And I have around 10 years of experience in Sitecore. So today, like whatever little I learned about Sitecore, so me and Yogesh going to present here. So first of all, I will cover some of the points regarding CDP. So first thing is how CDP works. So here, like what is CDP working functionality? I am just going to brief you with this simple example. So in this example, you can see James, who is a you can say user. When he search for an iPhone or you can say any other phone from his laptop or desktop or any other device, whatever, we just go. So when he search for this device, he's getting some notification. So like in the right section of this image, you can see he are just getting like still need a iPhone. So how this is happening? Because what CDP is doing, so CDP is just collecting the data that James viewed on his iPhone or his desktop, and how it's collecting, like what CDP is doing and how this data is collect. So how that personalized work. So for that one, CDP is just tracking every click that James did on that particular application. You can say any of the site, or what he searched, what tabs buttons he clicked, and what are James buying signal. So according to those signals, CDP is collecting data, and then CDP is consolidating and connecting all our customer or user data in one place. And according to that, we are just creating our custom profile and segment with our real-time data. So in CDP, data is integrated seamlessly from across all our businesses. So next slide, Yogesh, please. So in the last slide, one more example I can tell you before going to the next slide. So the example that I tell, that was regarding Gems. One real example that I face that I can tell you. We all are using this iMobile or like a bank, any other banking application. So in that one, what we are facing, suppose one thing I face in my one. So like when I'm going to my iMobile app and like for money transfer or for anything else, by mistake sometimes I just click on the like loan sections because they provide me some offers. So like that could be car loan or my personal loan or pre-approved any kind of loan. If I clicked on that one by mistake, so what like they are doing, they are just checking all my events or which of the pages I go on. So they tracking all my data. Like they are just checking what are my likes and what are my dislikes, and according to that sometimes I get call from customer cares. What is the reason behind that? I'm not telling customer care that I'm like I want personal loan or I want car loan, but they are tracking my data because my all the data in integrated mode going to any particular uh, channel, and from that they are just collecting my experience and then giving the result according to the. This is the basic functionality of CDP. Same thing CDP is doing. So now the thing, what is Sitecore CDP? CDP we all know, like CDP stand for Customer Data Platform that capture, unify, and user customer data from any channel. Channel could be like or call centers or like your phone, desktop, mobile, iPad. It could be any kind of channel. And then second thing in omni-channel user experiences. Third one is it either uses JavaScript library or call the API directly. So these are the two ways to call it. Next could be it can be connected to any external system, but condition should be like it's that external system should support the REST API. Otherwise, it will not work. Next thing is real-time interactive experience. It provides us real-time interactive experience so that user connect with it. So the next thing is what are the key features of a CDP? So there are many, but I'm going to brief you some of those. So first thing is marketers should be able to manage the day-to-day running the CDP with just light support of IT team. It means they don't need to connect much with the tech team or IT department whenever they need any new things or they want to update some of the things in that one, so they can do their work itself. So it is a good feature we can say from marketers point of view. So the next thing is CDP should be capable of collecting data from multiple sources, and multiple sources could be like servers, CRM, and email, while unifying the data to create individual user profiles. Because from that profiles we are, or those from segments we are collecting the data. Next thing is it should have a web-based UI that allow marketers to segment customer into customer audience, because firstly all the audience are segments and it convert into or real-time audiences. Next thing is it should be accessible to external system where data can be shared through or email or other application, social media platform, and then web and the mobile devices. These are the some of the key features that I covered here. The next thing is Sitecore CDP data model. You can see CDP data model is flexible and extensible. So like you all know about the Sitecore. Like Sitecore is also why we like more about Sitecore, because Sitecore is also very flexible and extensible. Like many of us already did some customization regarding our URL resolver, or like we can easily resolve the URL in Sitecore. Like we just use bucketable items, so we can modify URL according to our requirement or whatever our client's requirement. So that's why we like Sitecore more. And other than like in they provided everything in pipeline, so you can create our custom buttons, you can change the view, everything whatever you want. That's why we like more. Same thing comes with CDP as well. It is very flexible and extensible. So custom data added as data action, a data extension to the guest order. So you can see guest have like orders and order item, and same thing guest have session and events. So a guest can have multiple session, and each session, like guest have multiple session, but each session can have multiple events as well. So same thing comes for order. So guest could have multiple orders and orders could have multiple order items or multiple line items. So now the things guest are four types. So like first is customer, second one is visitor, third one is retired, and fourth one is traveler. And if I talk about session types, this data model have four kind of session types. One is open, second one is browse, third one is converted, and fourth one is abandoned. Open, if I talk about open means someone visited our site. Browse means he's just browsing the pages. If he's like, suppose in simple example, you can say, if you go to for buy a phone on Amazon.com or Flipkart, if you add the product in cart, it means you only browse. But if you give the order, place the order, it means it is changed to converted. And if you didn't pick the order, then it means it is the your one of the session is abandoned. So these are the four kind of session types in CDP. So this will tell you how this CDP integration work. So you can see first section is showing you how this during integration it is start collecting and sending the real-time behavioral and transactional data through the stream API. So you can see stream API is using for collecting the data, and then this data is going to the omni channel, and this then it is synced. And after sync we are just doing web push through email, through our social or any other like marketing or marketing cloud or marketing managing. So and the data that we are sending it this data can include different kind of thing. It could be like a user page view, like how many times user view this page, or user click on the their CTA button or anything, or like what things they search. Suppose they search only for the iPhone, or maybe someone search only for OnePlus, and there could be some different action like tab as well. So and we can like identify user when they are registered or when they are login from here. And if the items are added to the shopping cart, and the one of the important feature is order details. What is the order details? So this is the basic CDP, like how this CDP work through these APIs. And if I talk about like once this integration is done, Sitecore CDP start capturing the data from our application, and then sorry, then you can view your data in pre-built analytics dashboard that Yogesh is going to tell you how in the CDP dashboard we can see this data, how we can see the users list, how like the users are those are in our list, those kind of thing you can see in CDP. So the next thing comes is what are the integration types in CDP, or how we can integrate the Sitecore CDP. So first type is through Stream API, and second is what are the integrating side. First is Stream API, second one is Batch API, third one is the REST API. So Stream API lets you collect and send your real-time and behavioral and transactional data about the user to your application, and it have two kind of APIs. First one is Browse API, second one is Event API. So Browse API enable us to extend functionality within a browser. So we can also manage our cookies, uh, and we can also manage cookie from this browse API. And cookies also is an important part, because cookie lets browser cookie help us to identify guest, and the that makes our personalization better, and personalization is very important, otherwise it will not work. Second one is our event API. So event API is generally used for enable the event processing. So you can use these event APIs to send your event in a speed for mobile application to your website. So when you are talking about Stream API, we can make any kind of create, update, and delete. So now the next thing comes to batch API. So batch API lets you upload large amount of guest data and offline order in an efficient manner. So batch API work is to upload your large amount data, and it also went in, I think, in JSON Parquet file format. So next thing is REST API. That is the third API. The REST API lets you retrieve, create, update, and delete data that is available in our Sitecore CDP. And in the top, you can see interaction type that I already discussed. Like there are four kind of interaction type. First one is browse. Browse means session that did not result in any converted or abandoned session. Second one is converted. Converted means session that browse but doesn't result any purchase. Sorry. Third one is abandon. Abandon is simply like session that result in any abandoned cart. And fourth one is email that is triggered by any email. So now the things come how we can connect CDP in our website. So there are four ways for this. So first one is integrate using the Engage JavaScript library or Google Tag Manager that we generally say GTM. Second one is integrating using the Engage JavaScript library. So we use this way because in this way we can utilize three things. So like first thing is we can use the React application, second one is Next application, and third one is integrate using direct HTTP request. With all the JSS project that we are doing right now with Sitecore, we are using this application React, Next, because Sitecore support all these. So now over to you, Yogesh.
Yeah, thanks, Rishi, for giving quick introduction about CDP. And now I will go with like mainly I will focus on like CDP dashboard, okay, and how like dashboard looks. What are all the things can be done on dashboard? What are all the settings you can capture from there, and those settings can be used to connect your code with the CDP. And we are like in the demo also we are going to show you how we are basically using integrating the Engage JavaScript library. So we build the demo on the basis of like Engage JavaScript library. So we'll show that code like how you can utilize the code for that and how easy to connect with your website. And so before that, like we need to identify few things like before go to the like before starting with the CDP integration. So first thing is like we need to know like which environment we are on. So basically there are like three hosted environments for CDP. One is the Europe, Asia Pacific, and USA. So your CDP dashboard URL will tell you like in which region basically you are hosted on, and that not depends on your geolocation. Basically it depends on like where the environment hosted. So for example, like if you're on boxever.com, then you are hosted on Europe. And if you are seeing the AP inside the URL, then definitely you are in the Asia Pacific. And if you have US, then you are hosted in the USA. The another thing like you need to identify on the basis of your region. So basically like if you don't know like if you don't know like on the basis of the URL also, then there is a way in CDP dashboard to know about like in which region you are hosted. So you can go to like your dashboard. Either you can see the URL, or still you don't get any idea, then you have option like you can go to here the gear icon, and then you can go to the company information. On the company information, you can see the environment name. Here the EU region for me. And basically I'm on the appboxever.com. So this is how like I would be able to know that. And another point is the important thing we need to know before starting with is Sitecore CDP target endpoint. Okay, so target endpoint is also based on like your environment hosted. So as a like as a dev to identity, we need to check basically which target endpoint I need to use and which because it's region specific, so I need to be very specific for that. So URL is almost like same for target endpoint. I'm going to show like how and where we are using it. The thing is like it's having like AP in the URL for Asia Pacific, Europe, and the US, and you can get more details about like your region and all other things from this URL itself. So you can like know like where are the regions are hosted. Like you want to know your target endpoint, then you can simply go to that URL, the Sitecore page, and you can know the information. Okay. And the next thing is like we'll discuss about the guest types in CDP. So basically, like generally, like right now we are seeing three type of guest in our CDP dashboard. One is customer, another one is visitor, and the next one is traveler. So customer is someone who actually I'll talk about visitor first. So visitor is someone who just came to your site, okay, and didn't put any as many as information which actually we need to identify that visitor to as a customer. So basically, like for example, I just came to your site as an anonymous user. Okay, then I'll be counted as a visitor. But CDP is collecting all the information of that visitor also without like knowing the identity. I'll show you like how it tracks the visitor. So there is a browser ID concept in CDP. So on the basis of the browser ID, we can identify each and every activity of that visitor. So I just like roam around the site, and I just visited few pages of the site as a visitor. And now like I thought like, okay, let's log into a site, or maybe let's provide the enough information to identify myself to that particular site. So if I'm putting the enough information, I'm providing the enough information to identify, then I'll become directly become customer in CDP dashboard. Okay, and all my transactions, like all my activity, will automatically merge to that customer. If I'm already I have already account on CDP, then it will automatically merge that visitor information to the customer. And the next one is coming as a traveler. So mostly the traveler is traveler guest type are using as a flight order, or any traveling like concept. Okay, so I'll show you also how like it look like, how to identify or how it look like in dashboard. So in the dashboard, CDP dashboard, if you go to the guest, then there is a drop down called guest type, which actually extract or which filter all the results. So for example, if I'm making it all, then you can see like there are many unknown visitors. So we have only browser ID for that. And if I call the visitors, so it will only show like the visitors only. If I call the customers, then it will show the identified customers which are already identified in a site. And how it works or site. So I'll start with the fresh basically, so that there will be no locked in or identified information. So for example, I just came on a site. So every page load, we have a page view event. Okay, so that event is getting fired. We can see that event in the network tab. So if I go to that event, there is a browser ID in the payload, you can see. So that browser ID is basically, I just like, I'll go to a few of the pages. For example, like I'll go to the electronic page, I'll go to the fashion page. I'm not I have not provided any identification information till yet. I'm a visitor right now. Okay, so I just visited few pages. I just came to site, just visited few pages. On every page or on every reload, we are firing up the page view event, and that page view event is now tagged with titled with the browser ID. So if I need to know the information about my browser ID, so I need to go to the get part, and then I will write down the BID colon and the ID. So see, like the activity is 1 minute ago, and that browser ID. So basically, find out any browser ID. You need to prefix the BID first. So without that, if you search directly, it won't give you the result. You just need to filter with the BID colon, and it will give you the result. So if I open that transaction or that visitor, I'll see few of the information about that visitor. So here, like the overview will show you some of the information, like on which device you are on, what are your like activity heat map, and you are still online, or how it goes, when the first scene, and these kind of like activities is show in that timeline. It actually give you more idea about that visitor basically. So right now I'm just like on your site, and I have not like closed my session. So until I close my session, I will be in the open session. And in open session, you can see few of the details about this session, like on which channel you are on, device, browser, then operating system, your website name, or whatever the point of sale basically. Session duration is still in progress. So if you'll click on the view session, then you will see the activities also. Like I viewed, see these viewed events are there. So I just like viewed these all pages. So each and every activity of that particular user. And if you go to the properties, then you'll be able to like if there is any information, then you'll be able to see. Otherwise, like few basic information like first scene, then the cache type is visitor and everything. In the event viewer, basically all the events. So right now, like we just like triggered the view event, so we can see all the all the events are the view events right now. We can see more details, which I'm going to discuss about later. So this is how like you can identify your cache, and you can see all the required information about that particular cache. The next point which is coming in our slide is these are the points which I'm going to show you in the dashboard, like where you can find out like these things and how they are useful. So basically the first thing is like the debug mode. So debug mode is something like you can go to here, and you can simply like, so first thing is like debug mode is important when you are a developer, and it, like your website is working integrated with the CDP and something is not working. You came to know like, okay, things are not working, some event is not firing or something else is not working about that. Then you can like debug it. You can basically know the information where it's getting failed, as much as possible information you try to give you, like where the events are failing or where exactly the CDP or collecting data is failing. So you need to first turn on the debug mode for that. And after, like once you turn on the debug mode, you will start seeing uh, so you'll start seeing this gear icon. So this gear icon is actually like once you'll enable the debug mode, then only like you'll be able to see this gear icon, and this gear icon will give you more deep information about that visitor or like about that customer and each and every activity of the customer. If it is failing, then it will give you that detail also, like this failing in the checkout event or this failing in like somehow like reading this information will give you more idea about that particular fail. So this is how like you can utilize the debug mode. And if you want to capture all the data of this user as like the JSON mode, then you can simply go to show a JSON and you can see that data in the JSON mode. You can copy that and you can utilize, or you can identify what exactly like the data is, like how the customer activity is going on and everything. So this is how like the debug mode is there. Sessions, like Rishi already like talk about that, but I'll give you some brief information also about it. So once I come to the site as anonymous or like as a non-customer also. So if I'm visiting the pages, then it will be the open session for that particular thing. If I'm like I just like visited few pages and after some time like it become the browsed session, and for example like we are on the e-commerce part, okay, and I'm adding some products into the cart, and after some time like I just like close my window, I didn't make that purchase successfully, then that become the abundance session for me. And if I did purchase something, for example like I added something in the cart and I completed the purchase, then that becomes the converted session for me. And if you are like notifying that user like you made the purchase after that like converted session, you can simply like use the external services of CDP, like the email. So if you are like triggering the email, then it will come in the email triggering session, which I'm going to show you here, like how all the sessions are showing and how the information of the sessions are here. So for example, like here, like you can see the abandoned session. Basically, I came to the site, I added some product, and maybe like I can show you the live also, like how it works. So for example, like right till yet, I'm unknown. I'm unknown customer for this site. So to become the known customer, I need to provide the identity information. So in my case, the identity provider is the email one. So I just need to provide the email information to that site. So I go to the login page, I provide some basic information and my email ID, and then some test data, and click on submit. So in my code, I fired the identity event here with the email ID. Okay. And here you can see the information also, like what exactly the identifier information you provided. So I provided email ID, email as my provider, and I provided my email ID. So all the visits of this user, the unknown user, automatically merge to that particular identified customer. So if I go to my customer now, till yet like it was showing the old information. If I refresh this now, my open session which was tagged with that unknown customer or BID, now it came to my already identified customer, which is with my identifier email ID. Okay, so you can see like the open session came here. If I go here, see like all the activities like 7 minutes ago I visited these all pages. So everything came to this identified customer. So this is happening like we are not doing any like any activity for that from the code side also. It is automatically happening in the CDP itself. So it's basically like when you provide the identification information, it basically track down that data with your unknown visitor BID and get that data from there and merge it to that identified customer data. So that's how it's working. So like till yet the session is the open session because I'm on the site. If I make something like I go to the home page, okay, and then I add some product. For example, I just like added these two products in my site. I didn't do anything. I just like added those products. I'm not going to purchase them. So for now, like for the demo purpose, I'm just like I have like set up the force close event here. So that will basically close the session for me. So if I click on the force close session now after adding the product, and if I go and refresh the interaction timing, then you can see like my session become abandoned session because I didn't complete the purchase. So you can see a few more information here, like the page views, like 7 pages I views, like 7 views I have on the pages, and then you can see my abandoned revenue was $147 because I added the product with $147. So that's how like it tracks that this session abandoned session. And if you go like if you click on view session details, then you can see more particular details like you can see I added these kind of products here. I my guest was identified as like this email ID, and I visited these all pages. So these kind of like information I can see. The next session which come is converted. So to make the converted session I need to make some purchase. So basically if I go buy now and I click maybe these two products only, I go to checkout page. Okay, and here I can see like okay, I added these 4 products here, and then if I click on checkout, so clicking on checkout is firing up the checkout event basically. So here also you can see what kind of like event the status is purchase and the type of the event was checkout. So firing the checkout event is making my session to convert it. So just a second, seems to be. Let me make that fire again, maybe. Check out and clicking on check out. Okay. Okay. Somehow I think like at the demo time, it seems to be not working, but I can show you from my previous event, like how it shows. So it is something like it shows like converted session. So converted session means like you added some values, you purchased something on our site, and it will show each and every value about that, like what was the session value, what was the purchase value basically, and all other basic information which you can find in the browse session or the open session or like abandoned session. So these kind of like information you can find out in all the sessions. So every purchase or like every force close event, I'm triggering my email. I'm triggering one email to particular email sections like email like particular audience. So that also comes as an email session here. So you can like see here you can find out like more information about that email experience. So there are the contents and everything like you can find in the flow. So this is how like the sessions and everything are working. After that, like we'll go to the dashboard, like how the dashboard and how all the reportings are showing there. So dashboard is showing the reports basically, whatever the reports captured for that particular like CDP environment or like the point of sale basically. So you can see all the dashboard. Some of the report is like summary report. So summary report is giving you like the information about your customer, the channels, transactions, sessions, and like many more pictures you can see like overall pictures you can see on the basis of like your channels and everything. You can filter out the results on the basis of month, any channel specifically you want to see the results, or specifically point of sale. So the point of sale is something which is categorizing your business. So basically, like we are a large company which is like dealing in clothing and you can say maybe automobiles, pharma, and we want to capture each records or each kind of customer separately. Then we can create like particular point of sale for particular business. For example, like for clothing, I created one point of sale. So all my results, all my I can get like a very categorized report about my markets. So that's how like point of sale is working. And to connect with the CDP, that is the most important property basically we need to provide. So point of sale we need to provide when we are going to connect with the CDP. I'll show you in the code like how you can add the point of sale to with the connecting with the CDP. And this is how like the reportings are working. So these are all the guest types like visitor, customer. If you have traveler also, then you can see here the traveler, new visitors on your site, order items, whatever like all the order items. So you can see the categories here. So whatever like right now we have like electronic, jewelry, topiary. So the three categories are showing. If you have more, then it will show you here only with the reportings. Order items, what are all the order items you have, inbound channels, and many more like about the session reports browsed, converted, or each and every like session data you can see here. After that, like we have traffic report, which is going to tell you about like the traffic on your site basically. Then the segment report, which is categorized report basically. So like order per customer you want to know, session per customer you want to know, then this is categorized report you can see in the segment report. There are many more reports like the event dashboard and all. So we are not going to talk about them because those are something like you can go and explore on the dashboard, and those are like quite simple. You can simply go there. There is a tooltip, you can find out like what exactly the report is for that. So they are the information about this section, like what exactly it is showing. So on the tooltip you can get information about it. If you want to download the report, you can simply click on this button and it will get downloaded for you. Another important thing is like to identify your customer, you need to be set up the identity rules. So basically, for example, like the default rule we have in CDP is the email, okay, but many companies are not using email as the identifier. Like many companies are using some custom like very unique GUID, for example, like customer ID. So you can also provide your customer ID or your custom unique identifiers to the identity rules. And how you can do that in Sitecore CDP dashboard. So simply like you can go to the CDP dashboard and you can go to the gear icon. Here you can find the identity rules. And here you can see what are all the identity rules you have added your CDP. You already have basically, and you can add more rules here by clicking on the add rules. So you can give the rule name here and the identity provider, for example, like email and everything. So you can simply give the name of, for example, like if I want to go with the customer ID, then I'll give the customer ID here. Okay. And in the code side, I will work as the identifier. Like instead of email, I'll give the customer ID and I'll get the customer ID from like my logged in customer. So that's how like it works. So once you'll give that customer ID and I visited the site, there is a login something, or maybe there is a box to, you just can say like, okay, identifiers, identify yourself. So you just give your customer ID there. It will match with your identity rules, and it will make you the customer from the visitor. So that's how like the identity rules are important to add the identity. So in my case, like you can see here, I have given the email one. So email is my identity rules. So I provided the email ID, and on the basis of the email ID, I identified as a customer. Another one we already discussed about point of sale. So point of sale is something like categorizing your business basically. So if you want to get the categorized report of your different business, then you can create different point of sale. So you can create the point of sale from here. Here the same gear icon, you can see the point of sale here, and you can create your own. And so basically in the point of sale, you can give the name of your point of sale. You can give any name, any unique name to that. Your market, whether it's like Europe, US, Canada. So it can be like anything. Your brand, if you have anything, any with your brand, and the language. And the last one is the timeout. So timeout is basically like for that point of sale, your session timeout. So you visited the site for 20 minutes, you didn't made any activity. So it will get timeout for you, and it will capture the data for that particular session. So that's how like you can add your own point of sale. So for the API access, like for the connection, basically you need to know your secret token. So you can simply go to API access, and here you can find out the client key and the API token, which is basically give you access to the CDP console or CDP dashboard. Okay, it will connect your site to the CDP, which is we are also going to show you in the code side, like how we did it or not. Manage user is something like so you are an admin and some of your team member or maybe like your business want to see the console, so you can simply like go to the manage user tab here, and you can provide them access like whatever like kind of role you want to provide, or what exactly like you want to give them access to CDP console. So you can categorize that and you can give that in the manage user console. Okay. So the next slide is for the personalized, some of the reserved events we have. Okay. So CDP has their own like a few reserved events which you can use while you're like implementation. So basically there are few more. So view, tracking, identity, search, subscription, checkout. So these are all the events which is already like reserved by CDP. You can add your custom event also, that can be done also, like if you don't want to use, like if there is any custom event you want to fire, you don't want to use the reserved event, then you can simply do that in the engage JavaScript library. Okay. The next portion is coming the demo. So we already like started with it, some of the area we already explored, but yeah, I'll go with again with like with the fresh session. So I'll close the session here for that particular user, or maybe like I just close the browser so that there will be no cookie and everything for that. Okay, so I just came to my site. Okay, and now I will do some activities here. For example, I'll visit some pages. Okay, then I'll go and add some products. Okay, and then I'll go to checkout now. Okay. And till now, I'm a visitor. I'm not a customer because I just came to the site fresh. Okay. Last session was like we just closed that session, so we are just like a new customer here. In the payload, you can find out like the browser ID which we are giving, and the page view event is basically will start with here. So in the code side, what we did is like we got the engage JavaScript. Okay, and we are setting up the properties from our CDP, for example, like my client key, which I can get from the API access view. Okay, and then the target URL, which we already discussed about. So target URL is something like the endpoint, and it depends on your location. So for example, in my case, the Europe region, so the target URL has like Europe in this URL, and this is the thing like you need to identify on the basis of like your environment hosted for CDP. The another point, like for which category, which point of sale I want to store my data, or how like the interaction will getting my brand interaction will getting takes place. So this is something like either like you can, if you already have that point of sale created in CDP console, you can use that, or maybe you can create a new one for the category business. The another important property which is cookie domain. So this cookie domain is important because CDP actually collects the data and store the like on the cookie basis, and if you are providing the correct domain, then only like it will collect the data. Otherwise, like it won't be able to map the data with your website and the CDP. So that's how like that is the important part. You need to give the cookie domain. Few other properties which if you won't give them, then it will be getting the default values. So these are not the required thing. So like cookie expire, if you don't set that, then it will take the max age as per the browser. For server cookie mode, if you like if you want to get with the server side or client side, then you need to set true or false. Otherwise, like the default value will be the false for this. Same way, like the bus, like if you want to use the Sitecore personalize, then you need to turn on this web personalization. Otherwise, you don't need to go with the web personalization. It will automatically, like it will by default set as a false. So we need to provide all these properties, and then we need to initialize it. So like once we initialize it, then our website is connected to the or CDP environment. Okay, after like this init method, after initialization, what we have done is like on every page load, basically we are firing up the page view event, and the page view event is having few of the information like the channel, the language. You can make them dynamic. We are having static values here, and the page. So page is like whatever the page you are on, and the important property is point of sale. So this is how like it's connecting to the correct your data, basically your capturing your data and connecting with the correct point of sale, correct category, basically. So that's how and then we are providing these all properties or like all the event data to the page view event, and it's firing up this page view event on every page load event, and that's how like it's capturing the data for us. Okay, in case basically to get the browser id, we have like a pre-built function which is like get browser id. So you can simply like utilize with the engage API and get the browser ID if you want to get it. So I'm just like for my information, I'm just like having it in the console so that like I can copy that and I can identify and I can just like track down my customer, unknown customer, basically. Next event which we are going to fire is the identify event. So identify event, we are just like providing some small information. The main important information is my the provider information. So in my case, email ID is the identity provider. So I'm just like providing my email ID here. I can put any testing value here. The email ID should be correct one, basically. If you are putting it the different one, then it won't identify you, because to create any customer, you can't create your identity like identifier or your customer directly with the help of engage API. To create your customer, you need to use the like HTTP REST APIs, basically. So we have like CDP opens up the REST API for creating guest, updating guest, or deleting guest, or many more like guest properties. So for example, like if I want to, I don't want to go with this email ID. I want to create my new email ID. Then I can go to I can call my on the sign up, maybe on the sign up I can call this endpoint, the create guest endpoint, and I need to provide the information here like what will be the guest type, title, like in case like if I want to go with the traveler, then I'll provide the traveler here, the basic information, whatever the information you want to provide. The main important information I need to provide is the email ID, because that will be going for the mapping purpose. Okay, so email ID, phone number, and everything. So this API will create the customer in CDP. Okay, because with the engage API you won't be able to create the customer. The engage API is just for like the stream API, basically, that is just tracking your data. It's not like making any updates to your customer or your data. So if you want to make any updates to your order, or maybe like your customer, or any modification, then you need to use the REST API. This is how like it works. So stream API is just to track the data, and like interactive APIs, basically the REST APIs are modify, create, delete your customer data, or maybe your order data, or any other information you want to modify that. And the last one is the batch import, is for like collecting all the data. So for example, like I already have a customer with the email ID, so I'll show you like the update one. Okay, if I want to modify any data for that particular customer, for example, like I want to see whatever the values for that customer I have, so that can be seen here. So for that particular customer, like guest type is customer, because I created it with these values, and these are all the values I have. So these are the basic values. If I want to add any custom values which is not like the part of that dashboard guest information, then I can add those values in the extension, basically. So maybe like every company has their own data for that particular customer, and CDP don't provide each and everything. So you can still like extend, because it's extensible. CDP is extensible, so you can still extend that, and you can provide the extensible data here. Whatever like data you want to provide, any custom data. So for example, like right now my phone number is this, and I want to make the update. So basically, I'll just make it 5, and I'll send the request. And here in the response, I can see the updated value for that particular customer. So this is how like I see the phone number is updated. If I go here in the CDP at the same time, I just like refresh the window and I can see the updated value here also. So my customer information, any information about the customer, if I want to update, then I need to use the REST APIs. Okay. And if I want to delete any of the cache, which was like the test data, or maybe I cache is archive now, so I can simply delete the cache on the basis of the cache ref ID. Now, how you can get the cache ref ID? So to get the cache ref ID, we have a locate cache call, which is basically we need to provide some of the information about the cache, like maybe the cache email and whatever the identifier provider for you, the email for me, and the ID. And then clicking on this will give me the guest ref IDs. So in the URL, you can find out like the information about it. Okay. And the href at the last, you can find out like with this email ID, we have like 4 guests, and but every guest has different guest ref. So basically in my case, like mostly activities I'm doing with this, so copying this guest ref and then retrieving the guest on the basis of this guest ref, I can simply like I already provided this value 551. So getting that particular guest details, I can simply call that REST API, and I can get all the details about this user. So that is all like the information I can retrieve from the help of REST API if I want to get. You can see the details also in CDP. That is also one part. Okay. So now if I go here and if I click on the identification, then this user become the customer now. And as I said, like I already have the customer created with the same email ID. So I can see the data here in the in that interaction timeline. Okay. And we already discussed about the session. So like that depends like what activities you are doing. Okay. That depends on your activities and everything. So that's how like the CDP works. The events are we already discussed the initialize. So first we need to initialize it, then the page view event, like you can directly provide the information. The another event come to the identity customer event, which is basically the same. The data, like the data you are providing, the view event is same. The only thing you need to provide is the type. What is the event type basically? So you need to provide whatever the event type is. For in this case, like we are identifying the customer, so I'm providing the identity event, which is already reserved by CDP. And the another important thing, I need to provide the identifier, which is an array basically. So for example, like in my case, email was the identifier. So I provider will be the email. If it's not email for you, it's a customer ID for you. So you can simply provide the customer ID and the real email ID, whatever it is, and then firing the identity event. Another event, we are firing up the add to cart event, which is again like the thing, the again same. You need to provide all the basic information, the point of sale or whatever the currency channel is, and then the product information, like whatever the product information you have. So these kind of like product information you can provide, and then you can fire up the add event. So engage.event and then the add event and the event data to it. So that's how like the events are getting fired. After adding event, when we go to like checkout page, then we are firing up the confirm event, like okay, our order is like having the values and we are ready to purchase it, or we are ready to check out it. So confirm event is getting fired, and then the checkout event. So after that, like when we clicking on the place order, then we are like firing up the checkout event, which is basically having in the confirm event, we are providing the confirm products basically. So like whatever all the products we have added to the cart, so we are getting the collection of that product and we are setting up that in the confirm event, and firing up the checkout event is making the final call. So basically it's making your session as a converted session, or it's making your purchase. It's showing up like you purchased something in your site. And if we go here, so after timeline, if you want to see your orders basically, so you can see all the orders in the order tab. So once you, so in the timeline you can see only the activities and about the session, but the real order, converted order, you can see here. So in the orders, like basically you see the price, the status of that, then the channel, how many items you like bought from that particular order. And if you want to get more detail about order, then you can simply click here and you can see the details, like okay, I got this category top wear, I bought these all products, and this is how like the order value was. So and if you want to get the more debug details about it, then you can simply click on this gear icon. So this is how like you can find out the uh, your order items or order details. And the last tab, which is the event. So uh, if you want to get or personalize or filterize the events, basically, then you can simply go to event viewer tab, and you can see all each and every event which is getting fired for that particular customer. So here you can see like I fired up view events, then checkout, confirm, add, and you can get more information about those events here. Like clicking on this button, you can get like whatever the point of sale was, whatever the status was, channel information, and each and every other information you can find out by clicking these buttons here. So here in the events also, like all the success and failed events are here. So like it failed for us, one of the events. So you can see like checkout failed for this order, this particular order. So here you can get the details about failed events and the successful events. So like this is how like CDP you can connect your website. So it's completely like it's a software as a service. So you can simply and like headless. So you don't need to go with any specific platform. It's a JavaScript library. You can connect with your HTML website. You can connect with your any application basically. We support like JavaScript. Simply you can grab few small values, and you can connect with your CDP dashboard, and it will start collecting your data, and it will provide the reporting for that. Okay. Another I think we are running out of time. But yeah, like I already gave the idea about like how the REST API works in Postman. So this is what like to modify any data, we are just like having the REST API, and it is not for the like guest. It is for the orders and everything. You can create order directly from the here with using the REST API. You can update the order. You can delete any order. So update, delete, modify can be supported by the interactive API, which is the REST APIs. The last one is a batch import basically. So if you already have like data which is in different system, you can like you already have your system 10 years ago, and that is storing your data or database maybe like which is having data, and you want to merge that data now with CDP because you recently work with CDP. Your website is now running with connecting with the CDP. So you can simply batch import that data. There are few like a few things you need to be more careful while doing it. Like so batch import have their own limitations basically. Limitations in terms of the format of capturing the data. So you need to be having like if a file can be anything, but each record will be the JSON record. So if I have that handy, then maybe I can show you like how the file look like. Okay. Yeah, I have it. So maybe order one I can show you. So like see here we have the schema like how the order values are like you can. So this is how like each entry, each record will be JSON format, but file should not be the JSON at all. It can be any file, but like record should be in the JSON format. Each line should be, each row should be in the JSON format. So here like you can provide your information. Maybe you want to import the guest, you want to import the order items. So it will basically import on the basis of your JSON entry, and it will import to the CDP dashboard. That some limitations are like the file should be gz format. Like the extension should be gz format because it is something like uh, support by the AWS handle. And there are few more properties which you need to be connecting with your like maybe previous record, the gas trap, the unique value. So if something fails in your import, so the gas trap is something the unique value which is going to tell you, okay, this record get failed or this record not updated or imported. So in the batch import response, you can get that particular error about that fail. And then these are the resources which we use mainly the learning site code documentation. These are few resources which is basically in use of batch import, like GUID generator, then checksum of the batch import file, and all. And yeah, the last one is question and answer. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask. We'll try to give you the answer for that.
Thanks, Yogesh. Thanks, Rishi. Does anyone have a question for Yogesh or Rishi? I don't see any questions in the chat at the moment. Okay, then, since we are running out of time, I'll consider there are no questions, but maybe since it's recorded, every attendee can go it once again through the session. This was something a new topic, Yogesh and Rishi, so people might need some time to consume the knowledge and come back with the questions back to you. With this, yeah, I think Mitesh Patel has appreciated the nice demo. So thank you, Yogesh, and thank you, Rishi, and thank you everyone for attending, taking out time on a weekend and attending this session and making it fruitful. We really appreciate your time here, and have a great weekend.
Yeah. Rohan, one more point to add. So
Yeah,
if anyone wants to get the code, the demo code, you can directly approach me or the LinkedIn, or maybe like you can get my number also there, and I'll provide that. And if you have any other questions, like which is related to any area of the CDP, then you can contact me on the LinkedIn.
sure, Yogesh.